This is Kalina. She's a mage, she's in Watcher of Realms, and we are today going to go through her promotions, her gear, her skills, her awakenings, and what artifacts to put on her, and we'll have a play test around to see where she's usable and where she's not. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome, I'm Mystical, this is Mystical Gaming, and we are back into Watcher of Realms. Now here is Kalina. We have leveled her up to 60. Now we haven't maxed her out at the moment, we are going to do that in a minute, let's not worry about that. I just wanted to quickly go through something, so we'll take her for a quick spin and we'll take her into ye olde favourite guild boss. We'll place her down in the guild boss and we'll send her attacking away, no great shakes, there she is. She's attacking the boss, A1, A1, that's it, all going away. Now, we can notice the damage going on as well. There you go, 5,000 and a bit, 5,000 and a bit, 5,000, there you go, the damage is going on, it is what it is, right. And now we hit our ultimate is going off, all fine and dandy, everything happens, no issues whatsoever. Now, let's jump out of here. We will notice something here. When she's finished her ultimate, she is now stunned. The stun is applied to her. Now, just wanted to see that first. None of her attacks were crits, and the stun affects her. Right, let's go and have a look at her skills, and all of this will start making sense. But it's worth knowing that before we look at the skills, and then we have a better idea of what's actually going on and what they're talking about during the skills. And one of the reasons people don't crit is because they don't have any crit rate. Now, unfortunately here, we put some gear on her and we've got 100% crit rate, but we did no crit damage, or we had no crits. Now the reason for this is, if we have a look at our skills here, the talent here is talent. Cannot make crit hits. Now, apparently we get this talent at grade 5. What it should read is all the bit underneath it. This cannot make crit hits. That starts straight away as soon as you get the champion. The rest of it happens when you promote to promotion grade 5. So let's make that distinction to start with. Her promotions are at 4. At 5 she will get this one. Stage 1 we got the talent, we got a passive. Stage 2 attributes up. Stage 3 attributes up. Stage 4 basic attributes gone up, and then stage 5 we will get this talent. But they cannot make crit hits, that is all the time. Now the rest of it, each attack has a 40% chance to deal extra true damage equal to 50% of the hero's attack, which is a nice skill. That sounds nice. So any high defense we've got, we can come straight through that and deal true damage, and that is based on the hero's attack, which is nice because it's an attackive class champion and we're going to build attack anyway. Right, I have done all the skills up, so they're all maxed up, and basic attack deals 110 magic damage to one enemy. And then she's got the passive, that was what we got at our first promotion, we got this passive, Untamed Wrath, and then increases her attack by 40% when there is one enemy in range. Each additional enemy reduces the attack increase effect by 5% down to 15%. Anyway, there's a lot of enemies and she's just doing single target damage. She can be hampered by this passive. That's going to drag her attack down. Say down, you're always going to have a 15% increase. It's just not as good as it could be. And then we've got our ultimate, rapidly attacks one random target in range. Well, she did that against Guild Boss, kept firing out ability. Each hit deals 60% damage and triggering the talent effect up here. After the ultimate ends, it gains stun. As we saw, that stun was on her. Not she stunned the target, stun actually lands on her. Now, I'm not a lover of this. And the reason I'm not a lover of it is because when you go to the awakenings, Awakening 1 is the ultimate no longer even fixed stun at its end. Well, don't design it to fix stun if my A1 is remove stun from itself. Don't put it in there just to have it taken away by the A1. It's not so bad at epic level. If you've done this with a legendary, then everyone's got to have a copy of that legendary to make it more usable. I just don't like the way that sort of goes with a champion. I can't imagine using her if she was going to be stunned for 10 seconds after her ultimate was used. Just seems a little quirky, but it is what it is. Okay, so Hooray 2, attack 5%, no shakes there. Again, Awaken 3, enhanced during the ultimate, the interval of rapid attacks reduces by 30%. Awaken 4, Rage Regen Auto +1. Now Rage Regen Auto, that's what's automatically happening all the time. So that's the Rage Regen that's going on all the time. Your other normal Rage Regen, that's going on when you're attacking or when you're being hit. So that's the difference there. That's better than having normal Rage Regen +1. Awaken 5, for every 5 instances of damage taken from Kalina, enemies receive 1 extra 2 damage equal to 100% of Kalina's attack. Right, so she is a true damage champion. We will finish off doing our promotions. And then artifacts. Artifacts, there's a lot of your artifacts she cannot use. Crit hit increases crit damage. Well, she can't crit, so that's absolutely useless on her. Damage received during while AoE damage is increased, so we don't do AoE damage, so that one's no good to her. Increases damage by 10%. Dealing damage has 25% chance of slowing the target. So increased damage by 10%, we can use this one, and it may be beneficial for us to do that. Again, as we go through some of the others, restores 7.5 rage, so rage regen may be useful for her. Definitely not if you haven't got a Ray 1 done. Restores rage when killing a target. When deployed, increases attack by 12%, so attack is probably a good stat for her. What else have we got down here? Recovers rage, that may still be a usable stat for her. AoE damage, so go careful when you're picking up your artifacts. We're not increasing crit or crit damage because you can't do it. So go careful with the artifact you put on her. Now the other problem you're going to have with her is gearing. So for the longest time, let's see how little gear I've got now. We have always kept attack percentage, keep that. And then the next stat we're looking for, if you go to anyone who's done gear cleansing or watched the gear cleanse video, next thing they will do is they will click crit rate, because you want to keep crit rate gear and build your crit up on other characters. So she's not going to do this, she's not going to benefit from it. If she's got 0 crit rate, then she's not going to benefit from crit damage because you can't crit, therefore crit damage doesn't get used. So for attack if stats, we're then left with flat attack, rage regen, attack speed, then I guess you try and make her tanky if you want. Maybe if you've got a Volker in the team, you might want to up your healing that you're doing to yourself a little bit there. So we've got one piece there we could use. I've got one piece here. I've got nothing there. However, early game, it'd be absolutely fantastic for you. Before you have crit rate on all your gear, and you're trying to find it, she's awesome, because you don't need it. You can just worry about attack percentage, so she may not be a champion for endgame. We'll have a look at her in a minute when we gear her out and we go and try her on some things. But early game, she could be fantastic, because you don't have to worry about finding crit rate to go on all your gear. You can just put attack percentage on it. That's the only thing you have to worry about to start with early game. And all those bad rolls where you've got things like HP percent, they're just making her a bit tankier. So she may be an absolute baller for early game. I could be very wrong as well, she could be a disaster. But I think he could do well early game. As the game progresses and your gear progresses and you start getting crit rate on all your gear, she may start to drop off. But we'll have a look at that in a minute. Okay, so we've got a guild boss team made up, sort of, just full of epics, and we'll see what she sort of does, but not overly sold on it, to be honest, because does anyone use epics within... Right, so there's all the epics down. Then we'll sort of see how this runs. The issue is no one really uses epics in the guild boss anyway. They're only there for a Lord bonus. Occasionally people use Wrath, but that is realistically it. And as you push on further and further into game, you're going to have less and less use for her in this position. So it's quite artificial but I'm trying to think of where you would use her in the game. The other issue with the guild boss is guild boss has a relatively low defense, so you're not worried about breaking the defense of the guild boss anyway. It doesn't take much to overcome, so the true damage side of it and skipping his defense is massive. So I wonder where you're going to use them after that. To be honest, Gear Raid 1, you're not going to use her in Gear Raid 1 because she's not AoE, and the more mobs that are close to her, the less damage she does. So you're going to gimp her damage by putting her into Gear Raid 1, so that's a non-starter. Gear Raid 2s are possible. We'll chuck her into Gear Raid 2, have a look, see if she can kill the ads coming towards you, because that would be something for her. That would be a place where she can actually, I suppose, live and be usable, and you could get some use out of her if she can kill the mobs coming towards you. And after that is Gear Raid 3, so would she be usable in Gear Raid 3? Well, you can't use her on the left or the right because again she's not AoE, so that doesn't count. You can't put her really in the centre because you can't put her in the centre because she hasn't got the range to reach everywhere else. If you're curious why I'm not using Mari's ultimate, it's solely because she's just there to keep the defense down on the boss, which is again probably hampering our hero here because everyone else is getting damage done. There we go. Right, so that's that killed off. No, really worried about it, to be honest. It's a playtest mode and we'll see how she's done. Oh, blimey. So against other epics she hasn't done overly well. So she's bottom of the DPS and behind Wrath by quite some margin, really. Idril, the poisons, does more damage than true damage, so it's not really the ideal spot for her. But like I say, maybe Gear Raid 2, we can give her a chuck into Gear Raid 2 to see what she does there. But her ultimate is really quick, so going into Gear Raid 2, I don't think we've got long. Can she get us past stage 19? I suppose. Oh, no one's a water. That's a fight. Can she get us past stage 19? That's the point where you want to clear, and a likely place where you'd want to use epics to do that. I mean, if you've got legendaries, you make it much easier for yourself. If you haven't, then you can make it a little bit harder for yourself. So let's see how she does. I think I'm going to have to wait. She's got a very short ultimate, hasn't she? Again, this is going to be the other issue for us. That's nice enough damage on there. Let that go in, that's ticking through. Come on, I need the other one coming because your ultimate's almost burnt off. Oh, right, so I need a longer ultimate on you because the other ad's only just coming. Oh, maybe a better timing you could get her to work, but that's not ideal. Let's see how she does with the shield. Here we go. There's her rapid attack. Off it goes, and the shield's down. Right. Let's get a hollow using. Coming up, there's a shield up, there's a rapid attack, and there's shield down again. She's doing all right there. Oh, there's hollow again, the shield back up, entering boss mode, and the shield's been done by her. So how many boss versions of the shield can she sort of do, really, is a question. We might have actually found a little place for her, a little niche that she can be usable in. There we go, let's get her going again. What's she doing? She's going to do this one. Yeah, that one's done. That shield's done, all good. Hollow, let's regen that again before the next shield comes around. Her ultimate comes up so quickly, that is good. Shield, go. There's Hollow. Go Hollow. Come on. Between Hollow and her, I think I can keep this cycling through to keep her shield coming up all the time, or her ultimate coming through with the rapid attack all the time. I think at 120 there, she's going to struggle on this one. Both just about managed it. The next one, not a chance. But she is only doing this by herself. You've got other champions you can hit ultimates with. It's just I'm choosing not to, just to see how well she does. This is going to be too much for her to solo by herself, but I think even Setram's not going to do that by himself. And there we go, we're smashed out there. No issues whatsoever. But nice to see that ultimate there. Tie in with Hollow, triggers that quite nicely. And we haven't hit the best we've ever hit, but we're not expecting that. The damage is so shockingly bad. Now she's pretty much bottom on damage. But Idril almost on the same damage, but Idril never used an ultimate. Esme never used an ultimate. I don't know how the boss does with poisons or not. I am not too sure on that. But the other two above her didn't use an ultimate either, and did they? Are they automatic ultimates? Am I lying there? Am I just lying? Do a quick check when I put them on. Yeah, let's start the fight again. Just want to quickly check on that. We might be talking complete rubbish, but they didn't get their ultimates done. So where are you? Yours is automatic. Yours isn't. So Wrath did get his ultimate. Olaf didn't. The other place now we can't run her in at the moment again is in here, but I don't know how much damage she would do against the orb. If the orb is high defense, then she's ideal for this as well. Do some damage against it. I think that's about it, but she doesn't do any damage otherwise. The earlier you get her in the game, the better off you're going to be. So before your gear, when you're just getting gear, and if you pull her then at the start of the game, she's going to be awesome for you. She can't crit anyway, so you're not worried about trying to find gear with crit rate substats on because she can't crit. You're only worried about a main stat, and main stat being attack percent. So I think the earlier you get her on in the game, the better off you're going to be. As you scale through the game, she will scale back, which isn't all bad, unless she's also usable for future content. And there's a boss with massive defense, true damage, or something like that, or ignore defense, will come into it. As it stands at the moment, it looks good. It's absolutely awesome. This is good. The graphics on her are good anyway, but does she have a use? That's the issue. That's down to you really. If you pull her early, absolutely brilliant. If you're starting to get legendaries and gear that's got crit rate on it, then she's probably less worth it. And now, here's the other thing. This is a weird thing. They've given her like cookie cutter stats here. Why have you given her 150 crit damage there? No idea on that stat. You can't use it. So why didn't you give her something else, or just put a 0 in there? Why have you decided that 150 would go in there just because you're doing some stats? If when you're designing the character, you must have gone, well actually she can't use that, she can't crit, so I'm not going to worry about putting it in. Why have you done that? A weird thing to do. But on the whole, I think he's fine if you pull her early game and your gear doesn't have crit rate on it. As your gear and characters progress into later game, and she's going to trail off quite drastically because of the damage. But also take her out the vault again for Lord of Styx. I think if you're struggling for that shield, she can definitely help you do that with the ultimate. The ultimate comes around very quickly. Tie her in with the hollow like we did, and you will be able to power the first 2, maybe 3 shields of the boss, so hopefully you'll be able to get better rewards. She can help you there, and whether she can be used in the Frost Arbiter, that's another thing. But thank you very much for your time. I'll see you all in another video again tomorrow, and thanks so much for your time. Cheers then. Goodbye.